All right, part three of why I left Christianity, and this part is going to be based on the relentless monetary hypocrisy specifically, because obviously you can go on and on about hypocrisy, but that's kind of overdone, I feel like, at this point. But this one, I want to talk about monetary hypocrisy. I apologize for not having a shirt on still. Hopefully this isn't played in the church or anything, because that'd be a little inappropriate, right? Because I'm not wearing a shirt. Maybe I'll put one on for the next video. Anyways, I'm fully clothed, I promise, besides that. Actually, you don't even know that, so. But when it comes to monetary hypocrisy, the thing that always really bothered me and really came to be one of the leading reasons for why I left Christianity, because first I left the church, right? And then I left Christianity. But it bothers me so much when I would, and when I do, see churches erecting these massive state-of-the-art modern buildings. And we're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of construction materials, buying the lot, yada, yada, yada. And this really struck me in college. The grandeur of it struck me because I went to the University of Arkansas, and there's this mega church up there, although they wouldn't call themselves that. But they're on the fringes of the Southern Baptist Convention, at least they were. And when I was up there, they bought out the best gym in town called Fitness One for some multi-million amount of dollars. I don't even remember. Might have been 3 million or 13 million. Anyways, it was somewhere in the millions. It's not like it really matters. But they took out what used to be the best gym in the whole zip code and replaced it with C3 Youth Center, Cross Church College. And it was a really, really nice building. They had a whole coffee thing, and they had their own coffee shop, Bethel Coffee. They still do, have a basketball court in there and everything. It's really, really nice. The church itself is really, really nice. Definitely all of it is worth tens of millions of dollars. But what bothers me about this is those buildings are used for a handful of hours a week. I mean, you can less than 10 hours a week that youth building is used, because the youth services only ever happen once a week at 8:30 on Wednesdays. I think now they might have two services, and usually they would go like an hour and a half each. So you got maybe 3-4 hours where it's being used, and then selective events. Maybe they'll have a Bible study there, but it's usually no more than 10 hours they're being used. I mean, how often do you drive by a church and see the parking lot full? Pretty much only on Sundays and maybe Wednesdays. But that's what really bothered me, is that this building went from being a 24/7 fitness center to being a building that was used for less than 10 hours a week. Yet the church is spending millions and millions of dollars on this for it to just be vacant most of the time. A vast majority of the time it's vacant. The parking lot empty. So those millions of dollars are just going towards building the walls. That's all. They just built up some walls and windows and some electronics. They got a basically pyrotechnic dance show in there. And at another church I was at, I was making my way up, at least so I thought I was going to. And I was on the worship team just as a rhythm guitarist at a separate church called Fellowship in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And one of the problems that I face with that is, we have like we had such nice equipment. We had $100 in-ears, headphones that we would use to listen to ourselves, and the metronome keeping pace with the song, and when we sing the chorus, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of musical equipment. Another thing that bothered me is they had auto-tune on all the vocals. I remember one of the lead singer girls being like, yeah, I'm not really too worried about my singing today because I knew they'd be using auto tune, so I'm not stressing it. It's not worrying me. I'm like, bro, what? And then after we've had finished rehearsing for our upcoming Sunday night, we had Sunday night youth groups at this church, and I remember after we were done rehearsing, one of the tech guys came up and he was talking about how there was over 50 light cues for the service, and I'm like, why? Why do we need 50 light cues? And the reason is you're trying to generate an emotional response from people, which is another topic. But you're trying to generate an emotional response from people because that's how the Holy Spirit works essentially. That's the feeling that you get is when the music is really good, kind of like when you watch a really good movie or go to a good concert, you get that feeling in you, it's like a visceral feeling of passion, and the lights help evoke that too. Just really make you reach this climax where you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it is amazing, but kind of for all the wrong reasons. But that struck me as wrong, a waste of a lot of money because you got the salary of this tech guy that you're paying as well. And all he's really doing is light cues and clicking slides and modulating your auto tune and your levels. But at the end of the day, how much does that really matter? Is that what we're doing? We're trying to put on a show here? Why? Why do we want a show? Is that the only way to attract people now? And what you will see is yes. Because at Cross Church's Bentonville Rogers area campus, they have these massive, massive crosses that are 4 or 5 stories tall. I don't know. But they're so tall. There's 3 of them. And it just feels like one giant dick measuring contest because why did they need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on those crosses or however much money they spent? It's totally unnecessary. It's just saying, hey, look at us, we're Christians, come go to church here because we have really big crosses. Also, look at how nice our windows are and we have big TVs. This is not even Christianity anymore. It's just a big club, a big book club where we have nice windows and walls and TVs. So it looks obvious to us that are outside of it now, but for people within Christianity, it makes sense because, we want to have good facilities so we can continue to take care of the church body. But you don't need a bigger church. You don't need to keep expanding. You can just do things on different days. Like, let's say you theoretically do run out of room on Sundays for services. Why don't we just do a Saturday morning service? I know people work on Saturday mornings, but there's also people that work on Sunday mornings because I work on Sunday mornings. So why don't we do another service? The people in the church aren't doing anything throughout the week except for preparing for the next Sunday. So why don't we just do another service on a Wednesday morning or something? Or a Sunday night, You don't need to continually keep expanding. You can just add different services. So running out of space is really just a made-up issue to have an excuse to keep building, more tax exemptions and write-offs. So that's the thing is people don't really think about that. They don't really consider that. They think everything is for the glory of God and to better take care of the Christian body and for all the new people they're bringing in. But the thing is, how are you even bringing them in? Because if people are coming in, usually it's because it's a really nice facility and all that. So then you have to continue to upkeep because if that's how you got them, then the only way you lose them is to someone else that has better facilities than you because you didn't really gain them with the love of Christ in that situation. So, and then, of course, there's a cliche where you can be like, well, is that what Jesus would do? And of course, the obvious answer is no. But then they're going to be like, well, Jesus wasn't alive in the 21st century, But still, do you think he would have spent millions of dollars on a youth building when there's literally houses across the street that are run down? It just feels like really bad taste. And when you have homeless, there was a homeless center in Fayetteville, Arkansas, where a homeless guy had just died, for a multitude of reasons or whatever, at the homeless center. And I mean, you can say it's not their problem, and it's not their problem, technically. But why not spend all those millions of dollars that you spend on a youth building on building a better homeless center for homeless people? And you can say, well, they do that, just do. But they do that, it's just part of the budget. But what is even the point of having $1 million budget for a building? You can just have a tent. There are tents that will withstand rain, okay? And you can get speakers loud enough to project all the way to the back of the tent, and you'll be fine. It'll cover everything that you need to do, I promise. You can still break out into Bible studies. So why don't we just do that? It's because they don't have to. Why wouldn't they build massive buildings if they have the money for it? You know? So they do it because they're not thinking like Christ. They're thinking, oh, well, this money came from God. God ordained this money. And it's like, nah, I mean, it's just capitalism. You got money because people are giving it to you. So they're not concerned with reaching more people because they don't have to. They're not concerned with helping people with their money because they don't really have to. They can kind of make there's a lot of excuses you can make for not doing it, but it just is really bad taste. What do you think Jesus would do if he had millions of dollars from people? Would he build a massive youth building that's only going to get used for a few hours a week? Or would he help build homes for the homeless, which has been proven to help reduce homelessness, ironically? But not only homelessness, it actually helps the person not become homeless again. So why not do that? Because they don't have to. But it's because they're not thinking like Christ. So that really always pissed me off. Because why? Why not just, it's so simple. You can build a homeless center. Anything like that, man. Anything. Just do it. There are ways. If you wanted to, you would do it. You found ways to purchase a gym and do all that. Purchase the best gym in the city. You can find a way to build a homeless center. But they don't. Because they don't want to. That's ultimately what it comes down to. They don't want to do it, so they don't do it. So, for any Christians that might get recommended this video by the algorithm, ask yourself, why are we spending millions of dollars on a building that is only getting used for a handful of hours a week? I mean, it's really just offices of people inside there when it's not being used. They're just chilling in there preparing for the next Sunday. But it's not, I mean, what percent of the building is being used on a regular basis? Exactly. So ask yourself, what is the purpose of this building, and why couldn't we just be under a big tent? Just make a big tent, close it up when the service is over. See you later. Any money we get going directly to poor people to help them, going to people help pay their medical bills. All of it, because we don't need the rest of it. Okay?